What if the battles you've endured weren't signs of weakness, but proof that you were chosen for something divine? Have you ever felt out of place, as if your soul was whispering a truth the world couldn't hear? Behind your struggles lies a hidden identity, anointed, refined, and destined for more than ordinary life. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I am here to talk about something the world does not see, but heaven does. There are women walking among us who are marked not by the standards of men, but by the hands of God Himself. These women don't always look extraordinary, they don't always fit into society's expectations, but they carry something sacred, something powerful, something hidden. Have you ever felt different? As if there was something inside you waiting to be revealed? Have you ever walked through battles that seemed too heavy, yet somehow you came out stronger? My friend, that is no accident. There are 7 hidden marks that only the chosen women carry. And if you recognize even one of these in yourself, it means you are set apart for something greater. Stay with me because what I am about to share is not just a message, it's a revelation. It is the key that will unlock your understanding of who you really are. If you have ever doubted your worth, your purpose, or your calling, then you need to hear this. Let's begin. From here, the speech would unfold the 7 hidden marks one by one, building momentum and calling the audience to reflect and act. Would you like me to expand on the 7 hidden marks? The world often measures a woman's worth by fleeting things, beauty, wealth, status, or the approval of others. But the chosen woman is different. She is not defined by temporary standards, but by an eternal calling. She is marked, though few recognize it. She may not see it fully herself, but deep within, something stirs, a sense of purpose that cannot be silenced. This divine selection is not based on talent, background, or earthly achievements. It is a decision made in the heavens before she ever took her first breath. She carries within her a spiritual DNA, an identity that cannot be erased by the doubts of others or the failures of yesterday. But being chosen is not always comfortable. In fact, it often brings rejection before recognition, isolation before elevation, battles before breakthroughs. She will walk through seasons where she questions why she feels different, why she cannot blend in, why the things that satisfy others do not satisfy her. The chosen woman cannot settle because something inside her was made for more. She carries a divine restlessness, a holy discomfort that refuses to let her be less than she was created to be. And yet with this calling comes a cost. The enemy does not fight those who have no purpose. He targets those who are a threat, those who carry something he fears. The chosen woman often finds herself in battles she never asked for, trials that seem unfair, storms that rage without warning. She may wonder why her road is harder than others, why her prayers seem to take longer to be answered, why doors close when she is doing everything right. But this is the refining fire, the process that separates the ordinary from the anointed. The chosen are tested because they are trusted. They are broken so they can be built stronger. They are pressed so that the oil of their purpose may flow. Even in the struggle, there is a deep knowing, a whisper in the soul that says, "You were made for more." It is this whisper that keeps her going when she wants to quit. It is this unseen mark upon her life that attracts favor even in the midst of adversity. Doors open that no one can explain. Opportunities arise that she never sought. And even when she falls, grace catches her, reminding her that she is never truly alone. The world may overlook her, but heaven knows her name. Others may see only her flaws, but God sees the fire within her. She may not feel strong, but strength is being formed in her with every step of faith, every tear shed in private, every battle fought on her knees. She was not called to be ordinary. She was set apart for something greater. And when the time comes, when the process has done its work, the marks she once hid in the shadows will shine in the light for all to see. The chosen woman carries something within her that cannot be imitated, duplicated, or stolen. It is not found in outward appearance, nor is it determined by human validation. It is a mark placed on her by God Himself, an invisible seal that sets her apart. The world may not recognize it, but the spiritual realm does. There is a weight to her presence, an authority in her voice, even when she does not yet see it in herself. She walks into a room and something shifts, not because of who she is in the natural, but because of what she carries in the supernatural. This hidden mark is often revealed through the battles she faces. From a young age, the chosen woman encounters opposition. Her journey is not smooth. Her path is not easy. While others seem to glide through life without resistance, she finds herself facing unexpected storms, betrayals, and heartbreaks. But these trials are not meant to destroy her. They are meant to shape her. They are refining fires, purifying her character, strengthening her resolve, and drawing her closer to the one who called her. Every challenge she faces is not a sign of abandonment, but a confirmation of her calling. The enemy does not waste time on those who have no destiny. He only fights those who are a threat. Even in moments of doubt, the chosen woman senses a pulling, a divine restlessness that will not let her settle. She cannot stay in places that drain her spirit. She cannot engage in relationships that weaken her purpose. She cannot live in mediocrity when something inside her is calling her to more. She tries to be like everyone else, but she cannot. She tries to fit into the mold society has set, but she does not belong there. She may go through seasons of confusion, asking God why she feels different, why she cannot take the easy road. And in those moments, the answer comes, because you are chosen. There is a cost to carrying this mark. The chosen woman will face rejection before recognition. She will be misunderstood before she is celebrated. She will walk through seasons where she feels hidden, unseen, unnoticed, but God hides His greatest treasures before He reveals them. He takes time to prepare those He plans to use in great ways. Every delay, every closed door, every moment of waiting is not a punishment. It is preparation. She is being refined for something greater than she could ever imagine. And then one day, she begins to see it. The strength she never thought she had, the wisdom that came through her wounds, the resilience that was birthed in the fire. She realizes that what she thought was breaking her was actually building her. She understands that she was never forgotten, never forsaken, never overlooked. She was being set apart, and now she walks with confidence. Not because she has all the answers, but because she knows the one who does. The chosen woman does not chase after purpose. It finds her. There is something within her that the world cannot define, something that sets her apart. Even when she tries to blend in, she may not understand it at first. She may spend years searching for the reason she feels different, why she sees the world through a lens others do not. But deep inside, she knows. She was made for something greater. This is not arrogance. It is divine awareness. It is the undeniable pull of destiny, a force stronger than doubt, fear, or failure. But before she can walk fully in her purpose, she must endure the process. And the process is never easy. The chosen woman is tested in ways that seem unfair. She faces delays that others do not. She fights battles in private, while others appear to rise effortlessly. She experiences moments of isolation where it feels like no one understands her struggles, her thoughts, or the weight she carries. And yet something within her refuses to quit. She may stumble, she may question, she may even weep in frustration, but she does not give up. Why? Because purpose is written into her very being, and it will not let her rest until it is fulfilled. Rejection becomes a familiar companion on her journey. But the chosen woman soon realizes that rejection is not her enemy. It is her redirection. Every closed door was a shield protecting her from places she did not belong. Every betrayal was A lesson, not a loss. Every season of loneliness was an invitation to draw closer to God, to hear His voice above the noise of the world. The chosen woman understands that she was never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. She was called to higher ground, to a road that fewer travel, to a destiny that requires separation before elevation. There are moments when she wonders why she carries so much weight in her spirit. She looks at others who seem carefree, unbothered, unaware of the deep battle she faces. But then she remembers she was never called to live an ordinary life. The weight she carries is not a burden. It is an anointing. The struggles she endures are not punishments. They are preparations. The chosen woman does not walk aimlessly. Every step, even the painful ones, are part of a greater design, a master plan unfolding in ways she cannot yet see. And when the time is right, when she has been refined by fire, strengthened by trials, and humbled by the waiting, purpose will call her by name. Doors will open that no man can shut. Opportunities will arise that she never sought. And in that moment, she will understand. It was never about the struggles, the setbacks, or the silent battles. It was always about the preparation for something greater than she ever imagined. The chosen woman understands that every battle she faces is not just about her. It is about the calling on her life. From an early age, she notices that her road is different. She fights battles others never seem to encounter. Challenges come to her not because she is weak, but because she is strong. The enemy does not waste his energy on those who have no purpose. He targets those who are a threat. And the chosen woman is a threat, not because of her own strength, but because of the power she carries within her. She has walked through fires that should have destroyed her, but instead, they refine her. She fights back. She finds back. She has faced betrayals that could have made her bitter, but instead, they made her wiser. She has encountered storms that should have broken her, but instead, they built her faith. The chosen woman is battle-tested. She has scars, but they are not signs of defeat. They are proof that she survived. And not just survived, but overcame. Every wound, every tear, every season of struggle has been shaping her into the woman she was meant to be. She does not seek out these battles, but she does not run from them either. She knows that each battle has a purpose. They are the proving grounds of her faith, the refining fires of her destiny. The chosen woman understands that battles are not meant to destroy her, but to prepare her. They reveal what is inside her, the strength she didn't know she had, the endurance she never thought possible, the resilience that was buried beneath fear. Every time she is knocked down, she rises stronger. Every time she is pressed, she produces something greater. But the battles do not only come from the outside, they come from within. The chosen woman wrestles with self-doubt, wondering if she is truly capable, if she is truly called. She questions whether she has what it takes, whether she can carry the weight of her assignment. The enemy whispers lies, trying to convince her that she is not enough. But deep inside, there is another voice. The voice of truth. The voice of the one who called her. It tells her that she was made for this, that she is not alone, that every battle she has faced was already seen and accounted for, and when she finally begins to see it, when she understands that every battle was actually a blessing in disguise, she steps into her destiny with confidence. She no longer fears the struggles ahead because she has seen what God has done in the past. She no longer questions her worth because she knows she was chosen for a reason. The battles she once dreaded she now embraces because she knows they are leading her exactly where she is meant to be. The chosen woman is not after the approval of the world. She is after the purpose placed inside her. She understands that popularity fades, but purpose remains. She has been set apart for something greater, and because of this, she cannot live like everyone else. She does not chase validation, applause, or the fleeting acceptance of people who do not see her true worth. She walks a different path, one that is often lonely, misunderstood, and uncomfortable. But she would rather be in alignment with her calling than be embraced by a world that does not understand it. There comes a point in her life when she realizes that not everyone will support her journey. She will lose people along the way. Some will walk away. Some will betray her, and some will misunderstand her growth. The chosen woman does not let this shake her. She has learned that those who are meant to stay will stay, and those who leave were never part of her destiny. She refuses to shrink herself, to fit into spaces she has outgrown. She will not water down her calling to make others comfortable. She understands that favor is often followed by opposition, and that elevation requires separation. She does not seek shortcuts to success because she knows that true purpose is built through patience and perseverance. While others chase quick results, she is willing to endure the process. She knows that purpose requires preparation, and she refuses to settle for anything less than what she was created for. Even when she sees others getting ahead, even when doors seem to open easily for those who do not walk with integrity, she does not waver. She trusts the timing of God. She knows that what is meant for her cannot be taken by anyone else. There are moments when the world tempts her to compromise. She is offered opportunities that would bring her status, but not fulfillment. She is pressured to conform, to follow the crowd, to silence her convictions for the sake of acceptance. But the chosen woman stands firm. She knows that not all open doors are from God, and she refuses to step into something that will pull her away from her assignment. She would rather walk the hard road of obedience than take the easy road to emptiness. And though the path of purpose is not always easy, it is always worth it. The chosen woman may not always be seen, celebrated, or understood, but she is always covered, always protected, always guided by the one who called her. She does not need to force things to happen. She does not need to prove herself to anyone. Her only goal is to be faithful to walk in obedience to fulfill the purpose for which she was created. And when the time comes, when she steps fully into her calling, she will see that every sacrifice, every moment of rejection, every time she chose purpose over popularity was leading her to something far greater than she ever imagined. The chosen woman carries something within her that cannot be measured by human standards. She is not driven by personal ambition alone. She is led by a higher calling. She does not chase after opportunities. Opportunities chase after her. There is a weight to her presence, an undeniable grace that follows her wherever she goes. She is marked, set apart, destined for something greater than what the world can offer. And yet this calling does not come without a cost. She will go through seasons of silence where it feels as if nothing is moving, as if her prayers are unheard, as if her work is unnoticed. But the chosen woman understands that silence is not absence. In those hidden seasons, she is being prepared for what is coming. She does not rush the process because she knows that what is built in haste will crumble under pressure. She allows herself to be shaped, refined, and molded into the woman she was meant to be. She is not shaken by delays, nor is she discouraged by setbacks. She understands that just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will not happen. Timing is everything, and what is meant for her will come when she is ready for it. The chosen woman does not force doors to open. She walks in faith, knowing that what is truly hers will never require manipulation, desperation, or compromise. But this trust in divine timing does not mean she is passive. The chosen woman is not idle. She is always preparing. She is sharpening her skills, deepening her faith, and strengthening her spirit. She is investing in herself, learning, growing, and evolving. She does not wait for permission to become who she was created to be. She knows that when the moment comes, she must be ready. And when the door finally opens, when the calling is made clear, she steps into it with confidence. Not because she feels qualified, not because she has it all figured out, but because she knows that she was chosen for this. Every struggle, every lesson, Every moment of waiting was leading her to this very moment. The chosen woman is not defined by the world's standards. She is not moved by trends or swayed by opinions. She walks with purpose, knowing that she is guided by something far greater than herself. She does not seek validation because she knows she is already approved. She does not fear the unknown because she trusts the one who holds her future. And when the time is right, when all the pieces come together, she will see that everything she endured, every battle she fought, every sacrifice she made, was preparing her for the extraordinary purpose she was born to fulfill. The journey of the chosen woman is not an easy one, but it is a purposeful one. She is marked, set apart, and called to something greater than herself. Every battle she has faced, every trial she has endured, and every moment of waiting has not been wasted. She has been tested, refined, and prepared for a destiny that cannot be denied. Though the road has been filled with challenges, she now understands that those very challenges were shaping her into the woman she was always meant to be. She no longer questions why her path was different. She no longer resents the struggles that made her stronger. She now sees the hidden marks, the 7 undeniable signs that she is chosen. And now the question is not whether she is chosen. The question is, will she rise? Will she embrace the calling that has been placed upon her life? Will she step forward with faith, leaving behind fear, doubt, and the need for approval? The time is now. The season of hiding is over. The world needs what she carries. So to every woman who has ever felt different, to every woman who has ever questioned her worth, to every woman who has ever walked through fire and still stood strong, you are chosen. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where you need to be. And now, it is time to walk boldly into the purpose you were created for. We are standing at the edge of history. Something is coming. Something that will shake the very foundation of faith for Christian women across the world. March 25th, 2025 is not just another date on the calendar. It is a call to awaken, a call to prepare, and a call to stand in unwavering faith. Look around you. Do you see the signs? The enemy is working overtime, dismantling biblical values, redefining womanhood, and attacking the very essence of God's creation. Christian women are being pressured to conform, to abandon truth, to silence their convictions, and to bow before the idols of culture. But I am here to tell you, God has not forgotten his daughters. The world may say, be quiet, but God says, speak boldly. The world may say, compromise, but God says, stand firm. The world may say you are weak, but God says you are more than a conqueror. After March 25th, 2025, Christian women will face new challenges. Some will be tempted to give in, others will be mocked, ridiculed, and even persecuted. But those who stand firm will witness the greatest outpouring of God's Spirit we have ever seen. The question is, will you be ready? We cannot afford to be passive. We cannot afford to stay silent. The days ahead require bold faith, deep prayer, and unwavering trust in Jesus Christ. God is raising up an army of women. Women who will not bow to fear, who will not be shaken by opposition, who will proclaim the gospel with fire in their hearts. The enemy is afraid of Christian women who know their authority in Christ. That is why attacks will come. That is why deception will rise, but greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. My sisters, do not fear what is coming. Embrace it as your divine moment of destiny. The world is watching. Heaven is watching. Will you stand for truth when it costs you something? Will you remain faithful when the pressure increases? Because after March 25, 2025, the battle will intensify, but so will the victory. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to rise. And when we rise in faith, in power, and in truth, nothing can stand against us. Are you ready? Then stand with me and let's march forward in the power of the living God. A defining moment in history is upon us. And whether we realize it or not, Christian women are standing at the edge of a great shift. March 25th, 2025 is not just another day that will pass without significance. It will mark a time of spiritual reckoning, a moment when the battle lines will be drawn more clearly than ever before. We are living in days when truth is being challenged, biblical womanhood is being redefined, and the pressures of the world are mounting against those who choose to stand firm in their faith. It is a season where neutrality will no longer be an option. The days of casual Christianity are fading, and what is left is a choice. Will we rise in faith, or will we shrink in fear? For too long, Christian women have been told to be silent, to conform, to adjust their beliefs to fit into a world that no longer acknowledges the authority of God's word. We have seen the cultural tides shift, and with each passing year, the opposition against biblical truth has grown stronger. But is coming after March 25th, 2025, is not an accident. It is part of a larger plan to test the faith of God's people, to refine His daughters, and to separate those who are truly committed from those who have been merely spectators. The enemy knows that when Christian women rise up with boldness, when they refuse to be silenced, and when they choose to walk in the power of God, they become unstoppable. That is why the attacks are increasing, and that is why deception is spreading. That is why fear is being used as a weapon to keep many from stepping into their divine calling. But this moment in history is not meant to destroy us. It is meant to awaken us. It is a call to prepare, to strengthen our hearts, and to draw closer to the presence of God like never before. The shaking that is coming will not be comfortable, but it will be necessary. It will expose the foundations upon which many have built their faith. It will reveal who has been trusting in the world's systems and who has been standing on the unshakable word of God. After March 25th, 2025, Christian women will no longer have the luxury of living in complacency. Every decision will matter. Every stand we take will carry weight. Every word we speak will either align with God's truth or bow to the pressures of culture. This is not a time for fear, but for courage. The challenges ahead are real, but so is the power of God that resides within His people. We have been chosen for such a time as this, not to blend in, but to shine as lights in the darkness. The world will try to tell us that we are on the losing side, that standing for biblical truth is outdated, that our faith is irrelevant. But history is not determined by the voices of culture. It is determined by the hand of God. The battle between light and darkness has always existed. But as we approach March 25th, 2025, it will become more intense than ever before. The forces of evil are not merely working in the shadows anymore. They are boldly advancing, openly challenging everything that is holy, pure, and rooted in God's truth. Christian women stand at the center of this conflict, not by accident, but by divine design. The world is attempting to erase biblical womanhood, redefine morality, and silence those who speak the truth. The enemy knows that if he can weaken the faith of Christian women, he can weaken families, churches, and entire communities. That is why this battle is not just political or cultural. It is deeply spiritual. The deception that is spreading is subtle yet powerful. It is disguised as empowerment, but leads to bondage. It presents itself as freedom, but results in confusion and destruction. The enemy has strategically infiltrated media, education, and even some churches, distorting the truth and convincing many that compromise is the only way forward. Christian women are being told that if they want to be accepted, they must let go of their biblical convictions. They are pressured to embrace ideologies that contradict God's word, to celebrate what God has called sin, and to reject the authority of Scripture in favor of cultural trends. This is not just an attack on values, It is an attack on identity, on faith, and on the very foundation of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. But darkness can never overpower the light. No matter how fierce the opposition becomes, no matter how strong the pressure to conform, those who remain rooted in Christ will not be shaken. The battle may grow more intense, but victory has already been secured through Jesus. The world will call Christian women weak, outdated, and intolerant. But God calls them chosen, set apart, and anointed for such a time as this. He is raising up women who will not bow to the lies of the enemy, women who will stand firm in the face of adversity, and women who will shine so brightly that even those trapped in darkness will be drawn to the truth. After March 25, 2025, the cost of faithfulness will rise. Some will lose friends, others may lose opportunities, and some may even face persecution. But the question is not whether the battle will come. Question is, will we stand? Will we remain faithful when it is no longer easy? Will we speak truth when the world demands silence? Will we walk in righteousness when compromise seems like the simpler path? This is the time for Christian women to decide who they will serve. The battle is real, but so is the power of God. The darkness is growing, but the light of Christ shines brighter. The enemy is advancing, but he will not win. The call to stand firm has never been more urgent than it is today. As March 25th, 2025 approaches, Christian women must prepare for a season where their faith will be tested like never before. The days of casual Christianity are over. The world is shifting and the pressures to conform are increasing at an alarming rate. The enemy is not just working through laws and governments. He is working through entertainment, education, social movements, and even within churches that have lost their way. He wants Christian women to doubt their convictions, to question their identity, and to trade truth for acceptance. But God is calling his daughters to stand, to remain unshaken, and to hold fast to his word, no matter the cost. Standing firm does not mean living in fear. It does not mean retreating or hiding from the world. It means standing in the power of the Holy Spirit and refusing to bow to the lies that are being spread. It means walking in the truth of God's word, even when it is unpopular. It means trusting that God's plan is greater than the plans of this world. Christian women are being called to rise not in anger, not in frustration, but in faith. The enemy wants to divide, to discourage, and to destroy. But those who trust in the Lord will remain steadfast, unmovable, and victorious. After March 25, 2025, standing firm will come at a price. It may mean being ridiculed. It may mean losing relationships. It may even mean persecution in ways we have never experienced before. But Jesus never promised that following him would be easy. He promised that it would be worth it. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood before the fiery furnace, they knew the cost of their faith. Yet they declared, "Even if God does not deliver us, we will not bow." That is the kind of faith that Christian women must have in the days ahead. A faith that says, "Even if the world turns against me, even if I lose everything, I will not bow to the enemy. I will not compromise my faith. I will not be silent about the truth of Jesus Christ." The strength to stand firm does not come from human willpower. It comes from intimacy with God. It comes from spending time in his word, from seeking him in prayer, from walking in the power of the Holy Spirit. The enemy knows that a woman who is deeply rooted in Christ cannot be shaken. That is why distractions are increasing. That is why deception is growing. But the ones who anchor themselves in God will not be moved. This is not a time to shrink back. This is not a time to waver. The days ahead will separate those who truly follow Jesus from those who only claim his name. Those who stand firm will see God's power revealed in ways they never imagined. God's purpose for women has always been clear. But as we approach March 25, 2025, it will become more crucial than ever before. Christian women are not here by accident. They are not just bystanders in this unfolding moment in history. They are central to God's plan. The world may try to redefine womanhood, dismiss biblical truth, and push Christian women into silence. But heaven has a different message. You are called, you are chosen, you have a purpose that no force of darkness can erase. From the beginning, the enemy has sought to attack women because he knows the power God has placed within them. In the Garden of Eden, it was Eve that Satan deceived. Not because she was weak, but because he feared what she was created to be, all. Throughout history, when God was preparing to do something mighty, he raised up women of faith. Esther stood before a king to save her people. Deborah led a nation to victory. Mary carried the Savior of the world in her womb. And today, in the face of rising opposition, God is calling Christian women once again to be lights in the darkness, warriors in the battle, and messengers of his truth. But the enemy is working harder than ever to silence this calling. He is using confusion to distort identity, using culture to pressure women into compromise, and using fear to keep them from stepping into the role God has given them. The world tells Christian women that biblical values are outdated, that submission to God's order is oppression, and that faith should be kept private. But the Bible tells a different story. Women were created with divine strength, with purpose, and with a voice that is meant to proclaim the truth of God. The Proverbs 31 woman is not weak. She is strong, wise, and fearless. She builds, she leads, she nurtures, and she walks in the power of God. After March 25, 2025, Christian women will need to stand confidently in their God-given purpose. The battle will not just be fought in the political arena or the cultural sphere. It will be fought in homes, in churches, and in everyday lives. The world will try to reshape what it means to be a woman. But those who walk in the Spirit will know the truth. They will not be swayed by deception. They will not bow to pressure. They will rise in boldness, in purity, and in strength, knowing that their purpose is far greater than the approval of men. This is the time for Christian women to step into their divine assignments without fear, to be mothers who raise godly children, leaders who influence with righteousness, voices that speak truth, and prayer warriors who intercede for the coming generation. The enemy knows the power of a woman fully surrendered to God. That is why he attacks so fiercely. But no attack, no opposition, no deception will stop those who have been anointed for this hour. A season of refinement and revival is upon us. As March 25, 2025 approaches, Christian women must understand that the challenges they face are not meant to destroy them, but to purify and strengthen them. The fire that is coming will not burn them. It will refine them. The shaking that is happening in the world is not meant to bring fear. It is meant to awaken a sleeping church and prepare God's daughters for something greater than they have ever known. What may look like trials and opposition is in fact the hand of God calling his people into deeper intimacy with him, separating the faithful from the complacent, and positioning those who are truly devoted to him for a mighty move of his Spirit. Throughout history, God has allowed seasons of refinement before bringing great revival. Before Israel entered the Promised Land, they had to go through the wilderness. Before the early church experienced the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, they had to endure persecution. Before revival sweeps through the hearts of Christian women, in this generation, there will be a testing of faith, a breaking away from worldly attachments, and a renewal of focus on the things of God. The comfortable Christianity of the past will no longer be enough. Lukewarm faith will not survive what is coming. Only those who are willing to surrender everything to God will experience the fullness of his presence and the power of his Spirit in ways they have never imagined. This refinement will come in different forms. Some will experience personal trials. that shake them to their core, forcing them to trust God in ways they never have before. Others will see the institutions and systems they once relied on begin to fail, revealing that true security is only found in Christ. Many will face ridicule, rejection, and opposition simply for standing on biblical truth. But through it all, those who endure will be transformed. They will come out stronger, bolder, and more deeply rooted in God than ever before. Their faith will no longer be based on emotions or circumstances, but on an unshakable foundation that nothing in this world can destroy. And as this refinement takes place, revival will begin to rise. Christian women will find themselves drawn into prayer like never before. They will hunger for the Word of God. They will be filled with a holy fire that cannot be quenched. The Spirit of God will move in their hearts, in their homes, in their churches, and in their communities. Miracles will happen. Chains will break. The lost will come to Christ. And all of it will be the result of a generation of women who refuse to let fear, compromise, or persecution steal their faith. This is not a season to despair. It is a season to prepare. What looks like hardship is actually the pathway to glory. What feels like loss is actually making room for something greater. Those who remain faithful through the fire will be the ones who walk in the power of God when the revival comes. Victory in Christ is certain. No matter what happens after March 25th, 2025, no matter how intense the opposition becomes, no matter how dark the world may seem, the victory has already been won through Jesus Christ. The enemy may roar like a lion, trying to intimidate and deceive, but he is already defeated. The pressures of the world may increase. The cost of standing for truth may rise, but those who belong to Christ will never be overcome. Christian women must hold on to this unshakable truth. God is still on the throne, and nothing can stop his plans. There will be moments when the world will seem louder than ever, when the attacks against biblical faith will feel relentless. The enemy will whisper lies, trying to convince Christian women that their efforts are in vain, that they are on the losing side. But the truth remains. Those who trust in the Lord will never be put to shame. The faithfulness of God has never failed, and it will not fail now. Every promise he has spoken will come to pass. Every battle he has called his daughters to fight has already been won through the power of the cross. When Jesus rose from the dead, he declared victory over sin, over darkness, and over every force that stands against the people of God. This does not mean that the road ahead will be easy. Victory does not mean an absence of struggle. It means that no matter what struggles come, they will not have the final word. It means that even in persecution, Christian women will stand in joy, knowing that their reward is not in the approval of men, but in the eternal kingdom of God. It means that when everything seems to be shaking, they will remain unshaken, anchored in the truth that God is greater than any opposition they face. After March 25th, 2025, those who endure will witness the power of God in ways they never imagined. Miracles will not just be stories from the past. They will become reality in the lives of those who stand firm. Doors will open where the world said they would remain closed. Strength will rise where the enemy tried to bring weakness. The Spirit of God will move mightily among his daughters, equipping them with supernatural boldness, wisdom, and anointing to carry out his mission. The victory will not be in human strength, in political influence, or in cultural acceptance. It will be in the presence of God moving through his faithful servants. Christian women do not need to fear what is coming. They do not need to wonder if God will be faithful. He has already won. Their role is simply to stand firm, to walk in obedience, and to trust that the one who began a good work in them will complete it. The victory does not belong to the world. It does not belong to those who mock, who persecute, who try to silence the truth. The victory belongs to Jesus Christ and to all who remain faithful to him. As we stand on the threshold of March 25th, 2025, the message is clear. Christian women must be prepared not with fear, but with faith. The days ahead will bring trials, challenges, and spiritual battles. But they will also bring opportunities for great victories. This is not a time for retreat, for compromise, or for silence. This is the time to stand, to shine, and to walk in the calling that God has placed on his daughters. The enemy will try to intimidate, deceive, and distract, but he cannot stop what God has already ordained. Every trial that comes will refine and strengthen those who remain faithful. Every opposition will serve as an opportunity for God to show his power. Every challenge will be met with divine strength for those who trust in him. The world may change, but God remains the same. The culture may shift, but his word is eternal. The pressures may increase, but the power of God is greater. Christian women, you were made for this time. You were chosen for this moment. Do not shrink back. Do not let fear take hold. Stand on the promises of God. Walk in his truth and trust that no matter what happens, victory belongs to those who remain faithful to Jesus Christ. And in the end, when the battles have been fought, when the trials have passed, and when the final victory is revealed, may it be said of you, she stood firm. She did not waver. She remained faithful to the end. My friends, let me tell you something that will change the way you live. There are 3 things, just 3, that a woman should never reveal to anyone. Not to her best friend, not to her family, not even to the one she loves most. Because the moment she exposes them, she places her strength into the hands of others. We live in an age where people are eager to share everything, every thought, every struggle, every secret, believing that openness is power. But wisdom tells us otherwise. Power is not in what you give away, but in what you protect. A woman who knows what to hide walks in dignity, in confidence, and in divine strength. Today, I'm going to share with you what those 3 things are. And when you hear them, you will never look at life the same way again. Stay with me, because by the end of this message, you will walk away with the kind of wisdom that cannot be shaken. A woman's pain is sacred. It is not meant to be paraded before those who only wish to pity her or use it against her. When you speak of your pain to the wrong people, they will remind you of it every time you try to rise above it. Some wounds are meant to be healed in silence. Some battles are meant to be fought before. There are forces in this world that work against progress. There are people who smile at you but secretly hope for your failure. A woman must guard her plans like a seed in the soil, nurturing it in private until it is strong enough to withstand the winds of the world. Love is a beautiful thing, but it should not be given away without wisdom. A woman who exposes the full depth of her love makes herself vulnerable to heartbreak, manipulation, and regret. Love should be deep, but it should also be discerning. Not every heart is worthy of holding yours. My dear sisters, if you remember nothing else today, remember this: what you hide determines what you keep. Hide your pain so the world does not define you by it. Hide your plans so they can grow without interference. Hide the depth of your love so it is given only to those who deserve it. Walk in wisdom, walk in strength, and walk in the knowledge that what you guard today will protect you tomorrow. End. A world where openness is often mistaken for strength, the true essence of power lies in what remains concealed. A woman who understands this walks with an air of grace and confidence that cannot be easily shaken. From the beginning of time, mystery has been the key to influence. The less people know about you, the more they seek to understand. The more they seek, the more control you have over what they perceive. There is a reason why the most captivating figures in history were those who did not reveal everything about themselves. They spoke in wisdom, chose their words carefully, and left people wondering. It is not deception. It is discretion. It is knowing that not everything needs to be displayed for the world to judge, to envy, or to misuse. A woman who understands the power of mystery does not feel the need to explain herself to everyone. She does not broadcast her weaknesses, nor does she parade her strengths. She allows her presence to speak louder than her words. She walks into a room and does not announce her worth. She embodies it. People who lack wisdom seek validation through constant revelation. They expose their thoughts, their plans, their emotions to anyone willing to listen. But what they fail to understand is that the more they reveal, the more vulnerable they become. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. Secrets once shared cannot be reclaimed. Trust once broken cannot be easily restored. A wise woman guards her tongue because she knows that not everyone listening is wishing her well. The power of mystery is not about secrecy for the sake of secrecy. It is about protection. A woman must protect her peace, her ambitions, and her spirit from those who seek to drain, hinder, or manipulate her. People are drawn to what they cannot fully grasp. They respect what they cannot easily access. There is a reason why the greatest treasures are hidden, buried deep beneath the earth, locked away in safes, or guarded with utmost care. What is valuable is never left exposed. A woman must see herself as such a treasure. Her thoughts, her dreams, her struggles and her strengths are not meant for public display, but for selective sharing with those who have proven worthy. There is also a power in being unpredictable. When a woman does not reveal everything she knows, everything she feels, or everything she intends to do, she maintains control. The moment people think they have figured her out, she loses an element of influence. But when she holds back, when she chooses silence over reaction, when she smiles instead of explaining, she keeps them guessing. And in that uncertainty, she holds the upper hand. It is not about manipulation. It is about wisdom. It is about understanding that the world is not always kind, and not everyone deserves access to the depths of her mind and heart. A woman's heart is a vast and sacred place filled with emotions, dreams, and experiences that shape her very existence. It is not something to be placed carelessly in the hands of just anyone. There are chambers within her heart that must remain private, guarded like a sacred temple because not everyone who enters will do so with good intentions. The world often tells women to be open, to share their deepest feelings freely, as if vulnerability is a sign of strength. But wisdom teaches otherwise. Strength is not in how much one reveals, but in how well one guards the most delicate parts of the soul. Not everyone deserves access to a woman's pain, because not everyone will handle it with care. There are those who will listen not to heal, but to judge, to gossip, or to use that knowledge against her when the time is right. A wise woman knows that some pains are meant to be laid before God, not before people. Some struggles are meant to be fought in silence, not displayed for the world to dissect. The deepest wounds, when shared too freely, can be reopened by the very people she trusted. It is not coldness to withhold. It is wisdom. A woman who understands this walks in quiet strength, knowing that her heart is not a public book, but a sacred scroll meant to be read only by those who have earned the right. Dreams, too, are delicate. They are like small seeds planted in the soil of the heart. If exposed too soon, they can be trampled before they have a chance to grow. Many dreams have been killed in their infancy, simply because they were shared with the wrong people. The world is full of those who disguise their doubt as concern, who will smile at a woman's aspirations while secretly hoping she never reaches them. A woman must be careful whom she shares her vision with. Not every ear that listens is a friend. Not every smile is sincere. Those who truly support her will show it through action, not just words. Love is another chamber of the heart that must be guarded. A woman who gives away the full depth of her love too easily may find herself empty, drained by those who take but never give. Love is a gift, and gifts should not be thrown at the feet of those who do not cherish them. True love is tested over time, proven through action, and strengthened by wisdom. A woman should never reveal the full extent of her devotion to someone who has not yet proven their own. It is not a game. It is self-respect. To love deeply is beautiful, but to love wisely is powerful. A woman's heart is a treasure chest, and not everyone deserves a key. Some things must remain hidden, not because they are unworthy of being known, but because they are too precious to be mishandled. Trust is a beautiful thing, but it is also one of the most dangerous gifts a woman can give. It is often said that trust should be earned, not given freely. Yet, how many times do we place our faith in people who have not proven themselves worthy? The world teaches openness as a virtue, but wisdom teaches discernment. A woman who trusts too easily opens the doors of her life to betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak. She must learn that trust is not something to be scattered like seeds in the wind, but planted carefully in the soil of proven character. Not everyone who smiles at her is a friend. Not everyone who listens to her is doing so with a pure heart. Some people come into her life only to learn her weaknesses, to gather information that they may one day use against her. A woman must understand that trust is not measured by time, but by consistency. Just because someone has been around for years does not mean they deserve to know her secrets. Just because someone says they love her does not mean they will protect her heart. Trust must be built on actions, on patterns of faithfulness, on demonstrated loyalty. A woman should never feel pressured to share everything with everyone. There are parts of her story, parts of her pain, and parts of her plans that should be kept private. The world does not need to know every thought she has, every dream she hopes for, or every struggle she faces. She must ask herself, is this person truly trustworthy? Or am I giving them access out of habit, loneliness, or obligation? Too often, trust is extended not because it has been earned, but because a woman feels guilty withholding it. But withholding is not selfish. It is wise. There is also danger in trusting too quickly in moments of emotional vulnerability. When a woman is hurting, she often looks for someone to confide in, someone to ease her burden. But pain can blind judgment. In the wrong hands, her confessions can be turned into weapons used to manipulate, control, or gossip. 1 Guido 5. A woman must pause before she speaks, pray before she reveals, and discern before she trusts. If someone has proven untrustworthy in small matters, why give them more? If they have betrayed another, what guarantees they will not betray her? Even in love, trust should not be given blindly. Love is not measured by how much one shares, but by how much one protects. 1 Court 35. A woman must ensure that the one she trusts with her heart is not careless with it. Just because someone desires her does not mean they will guard her well. True trust is built over time, through trials, through seasons of testing. A woman who knows the limits of trust knows her worth. She understands that trust is a privilege, not a right. 10102. And only those who prove themselves deserve a place within the walls of her heart. Words are powerful. They can build or destroy, heal or wound, open doors or close them forever. A woman who understands the weight of her words knows that not everything she thinks or feels should be spoken aloud. The world often tells her to speak her truth, to say whatever is on her mind without restraint. 1 Dao 1:32. But wisdom teaches her that silence is sometimes more powerful than speech. There are things that once said cannot be taken back. There are words that once spoken can change relationships, reputations, and even destinies. A wise woman understands that not every thought needs a voice, and not every truth needs to be shared with the world. 156. One of the greatest mistakes a woman can make is speaking in the heat of emotion. Anger, frustration, and even excitement can make her say things she will later regret. How many relationships have been damaged because of words spoken in haste? How many opportunities have been lost because something was said that should have been kept private? A woman who controls her tongue controls her future. 1:02:21. She does not speak just to fill the silence. She does not share her plans with those who have not earned her trust. She does not allow her emotions to dictate her speech. Instead, she pauses, she reflects, and she chooses her words with care. There are also things a woman should never say. Not because they are untrue, but because they do not serve her well. She should not speak poorly of herself, for her words shape her reality. 1:02:52. If she constantly declares that she is not good enough, not beautiful enough, not strong enough, then those words will take root in her mind and become her truth. She should not speak against others carelessly, for what she says about others often says more about her. Gossip and negativity may feel harmless at the moment, but they always leave a stain on the speaker's character. 1:3:18. A woman of wisdom does not waste her breath on meaningless words. And then there are secrets. A woman must know which ones to keep. Not every part of her life should be open for discussion. There are battles she must fight in silence, victories she must celebrate in private, and pains she must heal away from the eyes of the world. 1:03:43. When she speaks too much, she gives people weapons they can use against her. When she reveals too much, she opens the door for doubt, interference, and unnecessary opinions. A woman who knows how to guard her words guards her peace. There is strength in silence. There is wisdom in restraint. A woman who masters her speech walks with an air of mystery and dignity that cannot be easily shaken. 4:11. The world listens to those who speak with purpose, not those who speak without thought. A wise woman does not just speak. She speaks with intention, with clarity, and with an understanding that her words are a reflection of her strength. Silence is often misunderstood. Many see it as weakness, as if a woman who chooses not to respond, not to argue, or not to explain herself is somehow powerless. 40. But the truth is, silence is one of the greatest strengths a woman can possess. In a world that demands immediate reactions, constant sharing, and unfiltered emotions, the ability to remain silent is a sign of discipline, confidence, and wisdom. A woman who masters the art of silence does not allow the world to pull her in every direction. 1:05:04. She does not waste energy on meaningless debates, nor does she let others dictate when and how she should respond. She knows that silence, when used wisely, is more powerful than 1,000 words. There are moments in life when silence is the best answer. When someone speaks in anger, silence refuses to add fuel to the fire. 1:05:28. When people spread rumors, silence denies them validation. When faced with provocation, silence robs the enemy of satisfaction. A woman who understands this does not feel the need to explain herself to those who have already made up their minds. She does not plead for understanding from those who do. Not wish to understand. 1:05:50. She does not engage in battles that do not serve her. Instead, she chooses when to speak and when to let silence do the work for her. Silence also protects. A woman who does not reveal everything she knows, everything she feels, or everything she plans keeps control over her own life. The world has a way of twisting words, of turning shared thoughts into vulnerabilities. Hanashon 06:20. When she speaks less, she gives fewer opportunities for others to manipulate her. She does not owe the world an explanation for her every move, her every struggle, or her every success. Some things are best kept in the quiet spaces of her heart, where they can grow without interference. There is also power in the silence of observation. OX 42. A woman who listens more than she speaks learns what others miss. She sees people for who they truly are, not just who they pretend to be. When she is quiet, she notices the small details. The way someone's words do not match their actions, the hesitation in a promise, the inconsistency in a story. Silence gives her time to process, to understand, and to make wise decisions instead of impulsive ones. 1:7:14. While others rush to react, she waits, watches, and moves with purpose. Most importantly, silence brings peace. When a woman is not constantly explaining, defending, or proving herself, she frees her mind from unnecessary noise. She is not trapped in endless conflicts or exhausted by meaningless conversations. 07:37. Her energy is spent on what truly matters, her growth, her joy, her purpose. The strongest women are not those who shout the loudest, but those who have mastered the quiet confidence of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. A woman's peace, plans, and pain are not meant for public display. 108:02. In a world that constantly pressures her to be open, to share every detail of her life, and to seek validation from others, true wisdom lies in knowing what to protect. The art of preservation is not about deception. It is about safeguarding the most precious aspects of her existence from those who do not deserve access to them. 1:8:24. A woman who preserves herself does not hide out of fear, but out of understanding that not everyone she encounters will respect, cherish, or honor what she shares. Her peace is one of the most valuable things she must guard. There will always be people, situations, and distractions that seek to disrupt her inner calm. 8:45. The more she exposes herself to unnecessary drama, conflict, and negativity, the more power she gives away. A woman who understands preservation does not entertain every argument, respond to every insult, or participate in every battle. She chooses her wars wisely and refuses to let the noise of the world steal the tranquility she has worked so hard to build. 109:09. Protecting her peace means knowing when to walk away, when to stay silent, and when to remove herself from people and places that no longer serve her well. Her plans, too, require protection. A woman who announces every step she is about to take opens the door for interference, jealousy, and opposition. The world is full of those who pretend to support but secretly hope for failure. Selfish, it is wise. There is also danger in trusting too quickly in moments of emotional vulnerability. When a woman is hurting, she often looks for someone to confide in, someone to ease her burden. But pain can blind judgment. In the wrong hands, her confessions can be turned into weapons, used to manipulate, control, or gossip. A woman must pause before she speaks, pray before she reveals, and discern before she trusts. If someone has proven untrustworthy in small matters, why give them more? If they have betrayed another, what guarantees they will not betray her? Even in love, trust should not be given blindly. Love is not measured by how much one shares, but by how much one protects. A woman must ensure that the one she trusts with her heart is not careless with it. Just because someone desires her does not mean they will guard her well. True trust is built over time, through trials, through seasons of testing. A woman who knows the limits of trust knows her worth. She understands that trust is a privilege, not a right, and only those who prove themselves deserve a place within the walls of her heart. Words are powerful. They can build or destroy, heal or wound, open doors or close them forever. A woman who understands the weight of her words knows that not everything she thinks or feels should be spoken aloud. The world often tells her to speak her truth, to say whatever is on her mind without restraint. But wisdom teaches her that silence is sometimes more powerful than speech. There are things that once said cannot be taken back. There are words that, once spoken, can change relationships, reputations, and even destinies. A wise woman understands that not every thought needs a voice, and not every truth needs to be shared with the world. One of the greatest mistakes a woman can make is speaking in the heat of emotion. Anger, frustration, and even excitement can make her say things she will later regret. How many relationships have been damaged because of words spoken in haste? How many opportunities have been lost because something was said that should have been kept private? A woman who controls her tongue controls her future. She does not speak just to fill the silence. She does not share her plans with those who have not earned her trust. She does not allow her emotions to dictate her speech. Instead, she pauses, she reflects, and she chooses her words with care. There are also things a woman should never say, not because they are untrue, but because they do not serve her well. She should not speak poorly of herself, for her words shape her reality. If she constantly declares that she is not good enough, not beautiful enough, not strong enough, then those words will take root in her mind and become her truth. She should not speak against others carelessly, for what she says about others often says more about her. Gossip and negativity may feel harmless at the moment, but they always leave a stain on the speaker's character. A woman of wisdom does not waste her breath on meaningless words. And then there are secrets. A woman must know which ones to keep. Not every part of her life should be open for discussion. There are battles she must fight in silence, victories she must celebrate in private, and pains she must heal away from. The eyes of the world. When she speaks too much, she gives people weapons they can use against her. When she reveals too much, she opens the door for doubt, interference, and unnecessary opinions. A woman who knows how to guard her words guards her peace. There is strength in silence. There is wisdom in restraint. A woman who masters her speech walks with an air of mystery and dignity that cannot be easily shaken. The world listens to those who speak with purpose, not those who speak without thought. A wise woman does not just speak. She speaks with intention, with clarity, and with an understanding that her words are a reflection of her strength. Silence is often misunderstood. Many see it as weakness, as if a woman who chooses not to respond, not to argue, or not to explain herself is somehow powerless. But the truth is, silence is one of the greatest strengths a woman can possess. In a world that demands immediate reactions, constant sharing, and unfiltered emotions, the ability to remain silent is a sign of discipline, confidence, and wisdom. A woman who masters the art of silence does not allow the world to pull her in every direction. She does not waste energy on meaningless debates, nor does she let others dictate when and how she should respond. She knows that silence, when used wisely, is more powerful than 1,000 words. There are moments in life when silence is the best answer. When someone speaks in anger, silence refuses to add fuel to the fire. When people spread rumors, silence denies them validation. When faced with provocation, silence robs the enemy of satisfaction. A woman who understands this does not feel the need to explain herself to those who have already made up their minds. She does not plead for understanding from those who do not wish to understand. She does not engage in battles that do not serve her. Instead, she chooses when to speak and when to let silence do the work for her. Silence also protects. A woman who does not reveal everything she knows, everything she feels, or everything she plans keeps control over her own life. The world has a way of twisting words, of turning shared thoughts into vulnerabilities. When she speaks less, she gives fewer opportunities for others to manipulate her. She does not owe the world an explanation for her every move, her every struggle, or her every success. Some things are best kept in the quiet spaces of her heart, where they can grow without interference. There is also power in the silence of observation. A woman who listens more than she speaks learns what others miss. She sees people for who they truly are, not just who they pretend to be. When she is quiet, she notices the small details, the way someone's words do not match their actions, the hesitation in a promise, the inconsistency in a story. Silence gives her time to process, to understand, and to make wise decisions instead of impulsive ones. While others rush to react, she waits, watches, and moves with purpose. Most importantly, silence brings peace. When a woman is not constantly explaining, defending, or proving herself, she frees her mind from unnecessary noise. She is not trapped in endless conflicts or exhausted by meaningless conversations. Her energy is spent on what truly matters, her growth, her joy, her purpose. The strongest women are not those who shout the loudest, but those who have mastered the quiet confidence of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. A woman's peace, plans, and pain are not meant for public display. In a world that constantly pressures her to be open, to share every detail of her life, and to seek validation from others, true wisdom lies in knowing what to protect. The art of preservation is not about deception. It is about safeguarding the most precious aspects of her existence from those who do not deserve access to them. A woman who preserves herself does not hide out of fear, but out of understanding that not everyone she encounters will respect, cherish, or honor what she shares. Her peace is one of the most valuable things she must guard. There will always be people, situations, and distractions that seek to disrupt her inner calm. The more she exposes herself to unnecessary drama, conflict, and negativity, the more power she gives away. A woman who understands preservation does not entertain every argument, respond to every insult, or participate in every battle. She chooses her wars wisely and refuses to let the noise of the world steal the tranquility she has worked so hard to build. Protecting her peace means knowing when to walk away, when to stay silent, and when to remove herself from people and places that no longer serve her well. Her plans, too, require protection. A woman who announces every step she is about to take opens the door for interference, jealousy, and opposition. The world is full of those who pretend to support but secretly hope for failure. Dreams are delicate, and when they are spoken too soon, they can be trampled by doubt, criticism, and sabotage. A woman of wisdom moves in silence, allowing her actions to speak louder than her words. She understands that not every friend is truly a friend, and not every well-wisher genuinely wishes her well. By keeping her plans private until they are strong enough to withstand outside forces, she ensures that she remains in control of her own destiny. Then there is her pain, a deeply personal and sacred part of her journey. While society encourages openness, not every wound should be displayed for the world to see. Some pains are meant to be healed in silence, without external judgment, pity, or unnecessary interference. A woman who constantly shares her struggles with those who do not truly care risks having her pain used against her. People may sympathize today, but judge her tomorrow. True strength is not in how loudly she cries, but in how wisely she chooses where and with whom to share her. Some battles are meant to be fought in solitude with resilience, faith, and a quiet confidence that healing does not require an audience. The art of preservation is not selfishness. It is wisdom. A woman who masters it walks with confidence, grace, and an unshakable foundation. She does not give away what is meant to be kept. She does not waste energy on what does not build her. And in doing so, she remains unbreakable, unstoppable, and in full control of her life. A woman's power is not just in what she shares, but in what she chooses to withhold. In a world that demands constant exposure, she must understand the value of mystery, the strength of silence, and the necessity of preservation. Her heart, her dreams, her struggles, these are not for the careless hands of the world to toy with. They are treasures meant to be guarded with wisdom and given only to those who have proven themselves worthy. She must recognize that not everyone who listens has good intentions. Not every ear that hears her words will protect them, and not every heart she trusts will keep its promises. By mastering the art of discretion, she gains control over her life, her emotions, and her future. She learns that silence can be more powerful than speech, that trust must be earned, and that true strength often lies in what remains unseen. A woman who understands this does not seek validation from the crowd. She does not live to be understood by everyone, nor does she fear being misunderstood. She walks in quiet confidence, knowing that her peace is too valuable to be disturbed. Her dreams too precious to be exposed, and her struggles too sacred to be shared with those who do not deserve them. She is not weak for choosing silence. She is wise. She is not cold for guarding her heart. She is strong. So to every woman listening, protect your peace, guard your dreams, hold your heart close, speak when necessary, but know that silence is sometimes the loudest statement you can make. Move in wisdom, live with dignity, and never forget that the most powerful things about you are the ones the world will never fully see. My friends, listen to me. Too many of you are exhausted. Too many of you are carrying the weight of relationships, friendships, and situationships where your kindness is taken for granted. And yet, you keep giving. You keep excusing. You keep hoping. But tonight, I'm here to tell you, stop being nice to men. I know that sounds radical. I know it shakes the foundation of everything you were taught. Be kind. Be gentle. Be understanding. They told you it was the way to love. But what they didn't tell you is that there is a difference between kindness and servitude. And too many of you are out here serving men who do not respect you. You see, some of you think that if you are just a little bit more patient, a little bit more accommodating, a little bit more nice, then he will change. He will see your worth. He will finally treat you the way you deserve. But let me ask you, how much longer will you wait? How much more will you give before you realize that your kindness is not being honored but exploited? Ladies, hear me tonight. Men do not respect what they do not have to work for. If your love, your time, your forgiveness, and your loyalty are given without cost, they will be taken without appreciation. Some of you are afraid to say no because you fear losing him. But I tell you this, if you must shrink yourself to keep a man, then you have already lost. It is time to stop mistaking tolerance for love. It is time to stop being nice at the expense of your own peace. It is time to set the boundaries that demand respect. Because true love, real, honest, godly love, does not ask you to be silent in your suffering. It does not ask you to sacrifice your dignity in the name of patience. So tonight, I am asking you, no, I am begging you, stop being nice to men who do not deserve it. Love yourself enough to walk away from anyone who treats your kindness as weakness. And when you do, you will find that the right people, the ones who are worthy of your heart, will meet you at the level of respect you demand. Let tonight be the night you make the decision. Let tonight be the night you reclaim your worth. And when you do, my friends, you will finally see the difference between being nice and being valued. The burden of niceness is a weight that many women carry without even realizing it. It begins early, ingrained in childhood when they are told to be polite, to smile, to accommodate, to make others feel comfortable even at their own expense. It continues into adulthood, manifesting in relationships where they give endlessly, hoping that their kindness will be enough to earn love, respect, and commitment. But too often, this endless giving is met with indifference, entitlement, or even mistreatment. Women are told that if they just hold on a little longer, if they just understand him a little more, if they just don't nag, don't complain, don't push too hard, then everything will eventually fall into place. And so they wait. They give second chances. They forgive things that should never be forgiven. They excuse behavior that deep down they know is wrong, all in the name of being nice. The problem is that niceness, when given without limits, becomes a silent invitation for mistreatment. When a man realizes that no matter how little he gives, she will still be there, still loving, still supporting, still sacrificing, he has no reason to change. He has no reason to do better. He has no reason to value what is so freely given to him. Women carry the weight of maintaining relationships, managing emotions, soothing egos, and making life easier for men who put in little effort in return. They stretch themselves thin, pouring out love and patience while receiving inconsistency, half-hearted apologies, and broken promises. The exhaustion that comes with always being the one to hold things together becomes overwhelming. But they are told that this is what love requires. That to be a good woman is to be endlessly patient, endlessly forgiving, endlessly giving. And yet the truth is that niceness does not create respect. It does not build a foundation of mutual effort. It does not force accountability. Instead, it enables complacency. It teaches men that they can take without giving, that they can wound without consequence, that they can be careless with a woman's heart and still be met with understanding. But understanding without accountability is just self-destruction. It is allowing yourself to be drained bit by bit until there is nothing left. Women must recognize that being too nice is not a virtue when it comes at the cost of self-respect. There is a difference between being kind and being a doormat, between being loving and being a martyr, between standing by someone and standing in your own worth. Niceness should never be a woman's greatest quality in a relationship. Strength should be self-respect, should be the ability to walk away when she is not valued, should be, because the truth is, a man who truly cares, a man who is truly worthy, will never demand endless patience without effort, endless love without reciprocation, endless sacrifice without appreciation. And until women stop carrying the burden of always being nice, they will continue to find themselves empty, exhausted, and unfulfilled. Respect and servitude are often mistaken for the same thing, but they could not be more different. Women are told from a young age that being good, being loving, and being desirable means catering to the needs of others, particularly men. They are taught that a good woman is one who is agreeable, accommodating, and selfless, that love is about sacrifice, that patience is a virtue, that standing by a man through all his flaws is a sign of strength. But what they are not told is that there is a fine line between kindness and self-betrayal. Too many women find themselves in relationships, friendships, and even workplaces where they are giving endlessly, not out of true choice, but out of obligation. They believe that if they give more, tolerate more, forgive more, then they will finally be seen, finally be valued, finally be loved in the way they deserve. But servitude is not the price of respect. And a woman who lowers herself, who exhausts herself in the name of being nice, is not earning admiration. She is being taken for granted. A man does not respect what he does not have to work for. If a woman bends over backward to accommodate him, to soften every harsh truth, to accept every broken promise, then he has no reason to change, no reason to appreciate what she brings into his life. He sees her as an extension of his own comfort, not as an individual with her own needs and boundaries. Women find themselves in a cycle where they believe their worth is tied to how much they can endure. They believe that love means standing by a man even when he does not deserve it, that being a good partner means never demanding too much, never questioning too much, never making him uncomfortable. But what they fail to see is that this is not love. This is servitude. And servitude will never bring respect. Respect is earned when boundaries are enforced. It is built when a woman knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. A man respects a woman who can walk away. He respects a woman who can demand effort, consistency, and accountability. He respects a woman who does not fear losing him because she values herself first. The moment a woman starts prioritizing her own well-being over the comfort of a man who refuses to do the work, she shifts the power. She is no longer at the mercy of his whims, no longer waiting for him to realize her worth because she already knows it herself. Women must ask themselves, am I being respected or am I simply being tolerated? Am I receiving love or am I just convenient? Am I being valued or am I just serving? The difference is everything, because respect cannot be begged for. It cannot be earned through endless patience. It cannot be forced through niceness. It comes only when a woman refuses to accept anything less. The power of boundaries is one of the greatest strengths a woman can possess. Yet society has conditioned her to believe that setting limits is unkind, unloving, or even selfish. From childhood, women are taught to be agreeable, to put others' needs before their own, to avoid confrontation in the name of peace. Music. They are made to believe that a good woman is one who is always available, always accommodating, always willing to give another chance. But what they are not told is that without boundaries, they will be used. Without boundaries, they will live their lives bending to the will of others while their own needs remain unmet. A woman without boundaries attracts people who thrive on taking advantage of them. She becomes the one who is always understanding, when he disappears for days with no explanation, the one who forgives without accountability, who waits endlessly for a man to give her what he has already shown he will not. She believes that if she just loves harder, if she is just patient enough, things will change, but they never do, because people do not change when they have no reason to. A man will only rise to the level that a woman requires of him. If there are no consequences for disrespect, then the disrespect will continue. If she keeps showing up, keeps answering the phone, keeps accepting the excuses, then there is no motivation for him to do better. Why would he, when he gets the benefits of her love without the responsibility of respecting it? A woman with strong boundaries, however, is a woman who commands respect. She does not entertain inconsistency. She does not accept half-hearted effort. She does not wait around for a man to decide if he values her. She already knows her worth, and she refuses to waste her energy on anyone who does not recognize it. When a man knows that she will walk away, rather than tolerate mistreatment, he has two choices: rise to meet her standards or lose her entirely. And the truth is, a man who truly values her will always choose to step up. But if he does not, then she loses nothing because she refuses to settle for less. Setting boundaries is not cruelty. It is self-respect. It is saying, I love myself enough not to allow this. It is understanding that saying no is not unkind, that walking away is not a failure, that prioritizing one's own well-being is not selfish. It is a necessary act of self-preservation. The women who struggle the most are the ones who give endlessly, who pour into men who take and take until there is nothing left. But a woman with boundaries, she protects her peace. She protects her heart. And in doing so, she ensures that when she does give, it is to someone who is truly worthy of her. Demanding accountability is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-respect. Too many women have been conditioned to believe that holding a man responsible for his actions is synonymous with being difficult, unloving, or even ungrateful. They are taught to be patient, to be understanding, to give him time to grow, to avoid pressuring him. And so they excuse, they justify, they rationalize, they tell themselves that he didn't mean it, that he's just going through a phase, that if they are patient enough, he will change. But change does not come from patience alone. Change comes from accountability. And the hard truth is that men do not change when they are comfortable. They change when they are required to. A man who is never held accountable learns that he can say one thing and do another, that he can break promises without consequence, that he can ignore a woman's needs, neglect her emotions, and still expect her to stay. When there are no real consequences for his behavior, he has no incentive to do better. Women often find themselves in relationships where they are constantly lowering their expectations, making excuses for why he is not showing up in the way he should. He's just not good at expressing his feelings. He's had a rough past. He's not ready for commitment, but maybe one day. But the reality is, a man who truly wants to be better will rise to the occasion, not because a woman tolerates his shortcut, but because she refuses to. Holding a man accountable means refusing to accept empty words. It means actions must match promises. It means when he disrespects, there are consequences. It means she does not sit quietly and suffer in silence just to keep the peace. Peace that comes at the cost of self-respect is not peace. It is submission. Women must learn to challenge the men in their lives, to stop allowing inconsistent. 2. Stop making it easy for men to remain emotionally irresponsible. If a woman does not demand more, she will not receive more. If she does not set a standard, she will never get what she truly deserves. Many women fear that holding a man accountable will push him away, that if they demand better, he will leave. But if setting a standard makes him walk away, then he was never truly there in the first place. A man who values a woman will not see accountability as an attack, but as an opportunity to grow. He will not run from responsibility. He will embrace it. And if he does not, then that is the clearest sign that she is wasting her time. Because no matter how much love, patience, and understanding she gives, if a man refuses to be held accountable, then he is telling her exactly who he is, and she must believe him. Too many women have been taught to believe that their strength lies in their ability to endure, to compromise, to sacrifice. They have been told that demanding respect makes them difficult, that having standards makes them unreasonable, that expecting effort makes them too much, and so they shrink themselves. They lower their voices. They make themselves easier to love by accepting less than they deserve. But what they do not realize is that when a woman stops demanding respect, she starts accepting disrespect. She creates a reality where a man can do the bare minimum and still receive her time, her love, and her loyalty. She makes it clear that no matter how little effort he puts in, she will still be there. And once a man knows he does not have to work for her respect, he stops valuing it. Respect is not something a woman should have to beg for. It is not something she should have to fight for. It should be the foundation of every relationship she allows in her life. But respect is only given when it is required. A woman who demands respect is a woman who does not tolerate inconsistency, manipulation, or excuses. She does not settle for potential. She does not waste time on men who treat her as an option. She does not let words blind her when actions do not match. And when a man disrespects her, she does not explain why it hurt her. She simply removes herself. Because the moment she starts justifying why she deserves better is the moment she is already losing herself. A man will always treat a woman at the level she allows. If she accepts broken promises, he will keep making them. If she tolerates disrespect, he will keep disrespecting her. If she continues to show up for a man who does not prioritize her, he will never see a reason to change. Women must understand that love is not about endurance. It is not about suffering silently, hoping one day he will wake up and realize her worth. It is about mutual effort, mutual appreciation, mutual respect. And if that is not present, then it is not love, it is convenience. A woman who does not demand respect will be treated like an afterthought. A woman who knows her worth will be treated like a priority. The truth is, a man respects what he has to work for. He values what he fears losing, and he honors what he cannot replace. Women must stop fearing that demanding more will push a man away. If setting a standard makes him leave, then he was never meant to stay. If requiring respect feels like a battle, then the relationship was never built on the right foundation. Women must stop being afraid to walk away. Because the right man will never see her standards as a challenge. He will see them as a privilege. and only then will she have the respect she has always deserved. A woman's strength is not measured by how much she can endure, how patient she can be, or how many chances she can give. It is measured by how firmly she stands in her own worth. Too many women believe that if they are just good enough, forgiving enough, understanding enough, they will finally be loved the way they deserve. But the truth is, love that requires you to abandon yourself is not love. It is self-betrayal. And the longer a woman waits hoping that a man will one day wake up and see her value, the longer she allows herself to be diminished, overlooked, and taken for granted. A woman must learn to stop settling for potential, for empty words, for half-hearted efforts that never amount to real commitment. She must stop trying to prove her worth to a man who does not see it. She must stop pouring love into someone who is unwilling to meet her halfway. Because love should not be a constant struggle for validation. It should not be a test of endurance. It should not be a place where she is constantly questioning whether she is enough. If a man cannot meet her where she is, if he cannot rise to the level of respect and effort she deserves, then he is simply not for her. And she must have the strength to let go. A woman who knows her worth does not beg for attention, for consistency, for basic decency. She does not sit in relationships where she is the only one trying. She does not waste her energy on a man who treats her like an afterthought. Instead, she invests in herself. She focuses on her own growth, her own peace, her own happiness. She builds a life so full, so rich, so fulfilling, that she does not need a man to complete her because she is already whole. And when a woman stands in her own power, she attracts only those who are strong enough to stand beside her. But too many women fear that if they demand better, they will end up alone, that if they stop accepting less, no one will step up to give them more. And so they settle. They stay in relationships that drain them. They hold on to men who are not truly present. They convince themselves that something is better than nothing. But the truth is, there is nothing lonelier than being with someone who does not value you. There is nothing more exhausting than giving your all to someone who only gives you pieces in return. A woman must understand that walking away is not a loss. It is a victory. It is choosing herself over mediocrity. It is refusing to shrink for the comfort of a man who refuses to grow. It is stepping into the life she truly deserves. And when she does, she will see that the love she was begging for was never love at all. True love, real love, begins with the love she gives herself. It is time for women to stop equating love with suffering, patience with endurance, and kindness with self-sacrifice. It is time to stop being nice at the cost of self-respect. A woman's worth is not measured by how much she can tolerate, how much she can forgive, or how much she can endure before a man finally decides to value her. Her worth is inherent. It does not need to be proven. It does not need to be earned, and it certainly does not depend on a man's ability to recognize it. When a woman stops settling for less, she forces the world to meet her at the level she deserves. When she sets boundaries, she protects her heart. When she demands accountability, she commands respect. And when she walks away from anything that does not serve her, she reclaims her power, the love she wants, the life she dreams of, the respect she deserves. It all begins with the moment she chooses herself. So let this be the moment. Let this be the day she stops waiting for a man to change, stops hoping that love will come from suffering, stops believing that being nice will bring her the life she desires. Let this be the moment. She stands up, stands firm, and refuses to accept anything less than what she knows she is worth. Music. They will never meet back when they come from their screen. And let your life be less by never ever look music back. There is something powerful happening today. Some of you have walked into this room feeling broken, doubting your strength, questioning whether you are truly unstoppable. But let me tell you something. Inside of you is a fire that cannot be put out, a purpose that cannot be stolen, and a destiny that cannot be denied. You see, the world has tried to silence women for generations. It has tried to tell you what you can and cannot do. It has thrown obstacles in your way, hoping you would give up. But an unstoppable woman does not crumble under pressure. She rises above it. Today, I am going to share with you 9 undeniable signs that you are an unstoppable woman. And by the time this message is over, you will no longer doubt your strength. You will walk out of here with your head high, knowing that no challenge, no storm, no setback can stop you from stepping into your destiny. Stay with me, because if you hear these words and take them to heart, your life will never be the same. Are you ready? Let's begin. An unstoppable woman knows she was created for a reason, and nothing can shake her from fulfilling that purpose. She does not wander through life aimlessly waiting for the world to tell her who she is. No, she walks with certainty, her steps firm and unshaken, because she understands that she was designed with intent. She wakes up each day with an inner fire, a deep knowing that she was not placed on this earth by accident. It does not matter where she came from, what her past looks like, or what obstacles she has faced. Her purpose is greater than any pain she has endured. The world may try to convince her that she is too weak, too young, too old, too unqualified, or too broken to make a difference. It will throw distractions, doubts, and delays in her path, hoping to steer her away from what she was called to do. But she refuses to listen to the noise because the voice inside her is louder. That voice tells her that she was made for more, that she has a mission to fulfill, that she carries something this world desperately needs. She does not live by the opinions of others. She does not waste time trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for her. She is not defined by society's standards, nor is she waiting for someone else to give her permission to rise. An unstoppable woman knows that her purpose was given to her before she took her first breath, and no human being can take that away from her. She embraces who she is with boldness, knowing that her uniqueness is not a flaw, but a gift. Even when the road gets difficult, she does not back down. She has faced rejection, failure, and heartache, but none of it has been able to break her spirit. Every setback has only sharpened her, making her stronger, wiser, and more determined. She understands that the struggles she has endured were not meant to destroy her, but to prepare her for something greater. Instead of complaining about the storm she has faced, she uses them as fuel to push forward. She does not let fear paralyze her because she knows that fear is only a barrier meant to test her resolve. She does not give up when things get tough because she knows that her purpose is bigger than her pain. She is not easily swayed by temporary disappointments. When doors close in her face, she does not see it as the end of her journey, but as a redirection to something even better. She trusts that every delay, every detour, and every difficulty is shaping her for something far greater than she can imagine. She does not question her worth, nor does she shrink herself to make others comfortable. She stands tall, knowing that she is here for a reason and that nothing, no person, no circumstance, no trial can stop her from fulfilling the destiny that was placed inside of her. An unstoppable woman feels fear, but she does not let it control her. She understands that fear is a natural part of life, but she refuses to be chained by it. Fear whispers lies in her ear, telling her she is not capable, that she is not strong enough, that she will fail. But she knows better. She recognizes fear for what it is, a test, a challenge, a hurdle that she must overcome. She feels the weight of uncertainty, the trembling hands, the racing heart. But instead of backing down, she moves forward anyway. She knows that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. When she stands on the edge of something new, something unfamiliar, something that makes her doubt herself, she does not retreat. She takes a deep breath, straightens her back, and steps forward. She understands that every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation requires walking through fear. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. All of these are real, but none of them have the power to stop her. She does not let fear silence her voice. She speaks up when something is wrong. Even if her voice shakes, she stands for what she believes in, even when she stands alone. She does not allow the fear of being misunderstood to keep her from expressing her truth. She knows that her words carry weight, that her voice matters, and that speaking up can change life. She refuses to let fear make her small, and she refuses to live in the shadows. When she was created to shine when she faces a challenge, she does not allow fear to dictate her decisions. She understands that fear tries to keep her stuck, to make her settle for less, to convince her to stay where it is safe. But she knows that comfort is the enemy of growth. She pushes herself beyond what is familiar, beyond what is easy, because she knows that her purpose lies on the other side of fear. She sees fear as a door, and instead of avoiding it, she walks straight through it. An unstoppable woman does not allow fear to hold her dreams hostage. She refuses to sit on the sidelines watching others take the risks she was too afraid to take. She understands that regret is far more painful than failure, so she chooses to try, to leap, to believe. Even when doubt creeps in, even when fear whispers that she will not make it, she silences those voices with action. She knows that fear only has power if she surrenders to it, and she has no intention of doing so. Fear is not her master. She may feel it, but she does not obey it. She knows that she was made for more, and she refuses to let fear steal her destiny. She moves forward, eyes fixed on her purpose, and nothing, no fear, no doubt, no uncertainty, can stop her from becoming everything she was meant to be. An unstoppable woman is not defined by the trials she faces, but by the strength she shows in overcoming them. She understands that life will not always be kind, that storms will come, and that setbacks are inevitable. But she does not crumble under the weight of adversity. Instead, she rises. She has been knocked down before, but she refuses to stay down. Every hardship she has endured has only made her stronger, wiser, and more determined. She does not run from challenges. She embraces them, knowing that each struggle carries a lesson, a blessing, and a new level of growth. She has walked through fire and come out refined, not burned. Pain has shaped her, but it has not broken her. When life threw obstacles in her path, she did not let them define her future. She used them as stepping stones to something greater, where others saw defeat. She saw an opportunity to rebuild herself even stronger. She understands that resilience is not about avoiding hardships, but about refusing to let them destroy her. She stands tall even when the winds of life try to push her down, because she knows that she has survived too much to give up now. She does not dwell on past failures or mistakes. She does not let them become chains that hold her back. She forgives herself, learns from her experiences, and moves forward with newfound wisdom. She understands that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Every time she stumbles, she gets back up. Every time she faces disappointment, she finds the strength to keep going. She refuses to let one bad chapter define the rest of her story. An unstoppable woman does not waste time feeling sorry for herself. She acknowledges her pain, but she does not let it consume her. She finds the lesson in the struggle, the purpose in the pain. She knows that every hardship she has faced has prepared her for the person she is becoming. She has been shaped by the battles she has fought. And instead of being bitter, she is grateful. She wears her scars as a reminder that she is a warrior, that she has endured, and that she is still standing. No matter how hard life gets, she refuses to quit. When others doubt her, when the odds are stacked against her, when she feels like she has nothing left to give, she still finds a way to push forward. She does not let circumstances dictate her future. She does not allow temporary struggles to convince her to abandon her dreams. She knows that resilience is built in the moments when everything seems impossible, and yet she keeps going anyway. An unstoppable woman understands that life is not about avoiding the storms, but about learning how to dance in the rain. She does not let setbacks break her spirit. Instead, she lets them fuel her determination. She faces every challenge with the mindset of a conqueror, knowing that no trial is greater than the power that lies within her. An unstoppable woman carries no bitterness in her heart because she understands that forgiveness is the key to her freedom. She has been wronged, betrayed, and wounded, but she refuses to let the pain of the past hold her captive. She knows that resentment is a heavy burden, one that drains energy, steals joy, and clouds the future. So she chooses to release it, not because those who hurt her deserve forgiveness, but because she deserves peace. She refuses to let anger and bitterness poison her soul. She does not allow past wounds to dictate her destiny. She walks in the power of letting go. She understands that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes more courage to release pain than to hold on to it. It is easy to seek revenge, to stay angry, to replay the past over and over again. But she knows that doing so only harms herself. She does not allow grudges to shape her identity. She chooses to be bigger than the offense, stronger than the betrayal, and wiser than those who tried to break her. She knows that holding on to bitterness does not punish the other person. It only keeps her bound to the hurt, and she refuses to be bound. An unstoppable woman forgives not because it is easy, but because she refuses to stay stuck. She knows that as long as she clings to resentment, she is chained to the very thing she wants to move beyond. She does not deny the pain, nor does she pretend that it did not hurt. She acknowledges it, feels it, and then releases it. She refuses to be a prisoner to past wounds. She understands that her future is too valuable to be weighed down by anger, and so she sets herself free. She also forgives herself. She knows that she has made mistakes, taken wrong turns, and made choices she wishes she could undo. But instead of punishing herself, she gives herself grace. She does not let shame hold her back. She learns from her past, but she does not live there. She understands that self-forgiveness is just as powerful as forgiving others. She refuses to be her own worst enemy. Instead, she speaks kindness to herself, embraces her growth, and allows herself to move forward without guilt. She knows that forgiveness does not mean she allows toxic people to stay in her life. She sets boundaries. She walks away from what no longer serves her. She does not tolerate mistreatment, and she does not allow people to continue hurting her. Forgiveness is not about letting others off the hook. It is about setting herself. She lets go, not for their sake, but for her own. She values her peace, her joy, and her future too much to let bitterness take root. An unstoppable woman understands that forgiveness is her power. It does not mean forgetting, and it does not mean excusing harm. It means choosing herself, choosing her freedom, and choosing to move forward with an unburdened heart. An unstoppable woman stands firm in what she believes, knowing that her strength comes from a source greater than herself. She is not swayed by the opinions of the world, nor does she crumble under pressure when her values are tested. She walks with a confidence that cannot be shaken because she knows who she is and what she stands for. Her faith is not just something she holds. It is the foundation on which she builds her life. When the storms of life rage around her, she does not panic because she knows she is anchored in something unmovable, something eternal, something far greater than the temporary trials she faces. She has faced moments when everything seemed to fall apart, when the weight of the world felt too heavy to carry. She has had nights filled with tears, days when doubt crept in, and times when she wondered if she had the strength to keep going. But in those moments, she leaned on her faith. She understood that her power alone was not enough, but that there was a greater force sustaining her. She has seen mountains move, doors open, and impossible situations turn around. Not because of luck, but because she stood firm in faith, refusing to give up even when the world told her to. An unstoppable woman does not live in fear, because she knows she is not walking through life alone. She has a quiet confidence that, no matter what comes her way, she will make it through. She does not need to have all the answers, and she does not need to see the full picture. She trusts that there is a purpose for her journey. Even when she cannot yet see the destination, she believes that everything she faces, the good, the bad, the painful, and the joyful, is shaping her into the woman she was meant to be. She does not let doubt or negativity take root in her mind. She guards her thoughts, knowing that whatever she believes about herself will shape the life she lives. She speaks words of life, strength, and purpose over herself. She does not entertain the voices that tell her she is not enough. She does not let fear, insecurity, or past failures define her. She knows that her strength is not dependent on circumstances, but on the unshakable foundation she stands upon. When others question her, when life throws obstacles in her way, when everything seems uncertain, she does not waver. She does not need the approval of the world because she knows her worth does not come from others. She holds her head high, unafraid of what the future holds, because she knows who is guiding her steps. She does not let criticism discourage her, nor does she allow doubt to take root in her heart. She moves forward with boldness, knowing that she is exactly where she is meant to be. She walks in faith, not fear. She stands in strength, not in security. She knows that as long as she holds on to her unshakable faith, nothing in this world can stop her. Unstoppable woman does not rise alone. She lifts others with her. She understands that true success is not measured by personal achievements, but by the impact she has on those around her. She is not threatened by the success of others. Instead, she celebrates it. She knows that empowering others does not diminish her own greatness. It multiplies. She carries a spirit of encouragement, always looking for ways to inspire, support, and uplift those who cross her path. She does not compete with others. She collaborates. She does not tear others down. She builds them up. She has walked difficult roads, faced challenges, and overcome obstacles. And she does not keep that wisdom to herself. She reaches back to help others navigate the journey. She knows what it is like to struggle, to doubt, to wonder if success is even possible. And because she has been there, she makes it her mission to show others that they too can rise. She does not hoard knowledge, opportunities, or success. She shares them freely because she understands that when one woman rises, we all rise. She is a mentor, a guide, a source of wisdom and strength for those who need it. She is not afraid to share her story, the triumphs and the failures, because she knows that someone else needs to hear it. She does not hide her scars. She wears them as a testament to what is possible. She uses her voice to speak life into others, to remind them of their worth, their potential, and their power. She does not allow jealousy, insecurity, or selfishness to cloud her vision. She sees the bigger picture that lifting others does not take anything away from her. It only makes her stronger. She creates spaces where other women feel seen, valued, and empowered. She leads with kindness, strength, and confidence, showing by example what it means to be bold and fearless. She does not just talk about empowerment, she lives it. She invests in others, whether through time, resources, or encouragement. She knows that the mark of a truly unstoppable woman is not just what she achieves, but how many others she helps along the way. She believes in community over competition. She is not intimidated by the greatness in others. She calls it out and helps nurture it. She surrounds herself with strong, driven, and purpose-filled people, knowing that iron sharpens iron. She refuses to engage in gossip, negativity, or jealousy, because she understands that tearing others down is a sign of weakness, not strength. She operates with a mindset of abundance, knowing that there is enough success for everyone. An unstoppable woman leaves a legacy that is bigger than herself. She does not just strive to be successful, she strives to make a difference. She knows that when she lifts others, she creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond what she can see. She understands that true greatness is not about standing at the top alone, but about bringing as many people with her as possible. An unstoppable woman is not defined by circumstances, fear, or the opinions of others. She knows her purpose, stands firm in her faith, and refuses to be broken by the trials of life. She faces fear but does not let it rule her. She overcomes adversity with resilience, forgives to free herself, and lifts others as she rises. She does not wait for permission to be great. She walks boldly in the calling placed upon her life. Her strength is not found in perfection, but in perseverance. She has been through storms, but she did not drown. She has faced rejection, but she did not shrink back. She has encountered obstacles, but she did not surrender. She keeps moving forward, keeps believing, keeps striving, because she understands that her journey is bigger than just herself. She knows that she was made for more, and nothing, no failure, no setback, no fear can stop her. So to every woman listening today, you are stronger than you think, braver than you know, and more powerful than you realize. You were not created to live in the shadows of doubt and fear. You were made to shine, to rise, to break barriers, and to walk boldly in the purpose placed within you. Do not let the world convince you otherwise. You are an unstoppable woman. Now go and live like it.